ask myself as the days go by in the year, why now? Why this date? Why this evening? And why do we celebrate tomorrow? Why have we decided to make this time of year and this moment special? And why in this way? An infant with traveling earthly and meek parents in a manger of all places. No armies, no throne, no monetary riches, no titles and no castles. Why in this way when it is so very opposite of what the world looked for then and what we still look for in our answers now? And why do we return to this each year? The coming of Christ is celebrated every year over and over again. We count the days, checking off the months in great anticipation. Through the cycle of the church year, Christmas keeps returning, and Christ keeps returning to us as well. I think about these things often, not just on Christmas. All through the year, this day, and Easter especially, are on my mind. Richard Rohr, an American Franciscan friar and an internationally acclaimed author and speaker, speaks of this often as well. He says that we often settle for information rather than for transformation. That we tend to want to think rationally rather than with the broadness and the bigger picture of wisdom. We pride ourselves on being wise in religion. We pride ourselves in saying that we have the spirituality to see with a broader picture. But the reality is that we often settle for mere information and rationing of things in our mind. In order to understand the big mysteries, Richard says, you have to put them on small stages. And that is the wisdom of our church year, and why our faith ancestors have us each year returning to the coming of Christ in this moment in each year. They have placed this thing that exists for us all time. Christ's presence is with us always, and he always comes back to us. But yet, they had the wisdom to place it on this small stage so that we could gain a better understanding of it. But you see, it is a mystery, and we don't truly understand it. Somehow, though, I believe, I'm not sure I can explain exactly how, I believe that every day for us offers an advent. That every day for each of us offers an expectation of Christ's arrival. And that every day in some mysterious way that I don't know also offers a Christmas to each of us as well. Each day we have the chance to allow Jesus to enter and arrive and return into our life. I pray constantly for the wisdom to look for that in each of my days, and I pray that you are able to see that as well. But again, we come back to this question of why this way? I believe, as the sermon title states, that this story of the Nativity is what I would call God's bold move by the manger. First, I'd like to explain to you a little bit of where this title came to me from. Some of you, those who are internet savvy and do a lot of searching around, maybe on Facebook or YouTube, may have seen a video of a mock soccer superstar named Scott Sterling. It's a spoof, and if you've seen it, you're probably laughing right now inside your head. I have a friend in town, Justin Stripar, who happens to work at our one and only funeral home, and oftentimes before officiating a funeral, Justin and I spend some time talking to each other, and it helps to kind of take the edge off of what we're there to do. Justin and I still, each time we see each other, laugh again and again about this video of Scott Sterling. If you were to watch it, you would see a goalie going into the goal over and over again, and each time he stops a penalty kick, he stops it with his face. By the end, he's bloody, and the commentators announce in their British accent, "Scott Sterling returns." And I see some people laughing now, so it's jogging memory. I'm sorry you're not laughing with me, but if you go home tonight and watch it, you'll like it. And if you don't, I promise you I will go home and watch it tonight as well. Kind of take the edge off a little bit. But there's a moment in this video where the manager, the trainer, runs out behind Scott Sterling and sets a chair up in the goal, and Scott sits on it and of course gets smacked in the face with the penalty kick again and blocks it triumphantly. But as they're running in, the commentator on the TV says, "Bold move by the manager." As Justin and I were talking about it, this light bulb went off inside of me, and I said to him, "You watch I do this for Christmas Eve service," because it made me realize of the bold move by the manger. That God keeps coming back again and again to block the shots in our lives. Maybe not even blocking them, but being there present with us no matter what. That God, like Scott Sterling, thinks outside the box and will use a chair and his face to block the goals from going in the net or to bring us eternal life. That throughout the Bible, throughout the story of our relationship with God, again and again, God shows up, no matter what mankind has done. To the point of, like Scott Sterling, being bloodied and beaten down. Again and again, God shows up, and again, Christ comes back to us. To me, I like to find meaning in everything I can and look for God in all places because it seems so hard to find Him at times. If I were to be honest, I would tell you that I watched that video mostly because it's funny, not because I found God in it. I probably watched it about 20 times before it actually came to me why I was so drawn to it. I laugh hysterically every time I watch it. But then again, joy is what Christmas is all about. And though it's offered to me through a comical spoof on YouTube, in a way, that is Christ returning to me as well, because it can lift me, even in some sad days. But again, why? Here's what I've come up with. Why does God keep coming back over and over again? And why in this way by a manger and a stable? Many of you are smart enough to come up with your own reasons, and this is just a short list of mine. But first, I think it is to remind us, as I've said, that God stays in the game with us. Even when nobody else thinks that God would. Just like in the video, nobody thinks that Scott Sterling would possibly enter back into the goal, and yet there he is, shoved back in, bloody face, ready to block the goal. Actually not ready and not even willing, but forced to do so because it's his very nature, just like our Christ. It reminds us that Jesus returns to us in a manger, and also bloodied on the cross again and again. I believe that why in a manger is to show us the depths that God goes to lift us up. Not to pull us up, because when you pull someone, you may pull too hard and they'll pull back, or they'll rip something or tear something, but to get beneath us and to lift us up. That is how God always works with us. No matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what is going on, God is with us. Emmanuel. I believe also that the story of the manger, this bold move, leads us in an example. Mary and Joseph went against all odds to follow the angel's call to them and to travel a great distance. We all have experienced times in our life where it felt like the world was against us, but yet I'm sure that most of us may not have experienced the odds faced by Mary and Joseph. Later in Scripture, we learn that they will flee in order to save their child's life, again listening to the call of an angel, while other children are not saved. They make bold moves again and again in their life, and they teach us that we can make ours as well. infant, I believe the child challenges us. Challenges us to rethink what we see as a king or as a great leader. But I believe the children of our world today challenge us as well. As you leave, you can look off to the side and you'll see boxes upon boxes of toothpaste and toothbrushes and deodorant and powder and crossword puzzles and all sorts of other items over there. I'd love to tell you that those are what our church donated, but they're not. A 9-year-old boy in our town, Chandler Searball, decided that he was going to collect goods, items to make comfort pack for 75 veterans in a VA hospital in Lebanon. And yeah, we collected a few bags of stuff here for him as well. A 9-year-old boy decided to do that. A few days ago, he delivered those 75 comfort packs to the VA hospital in Lebanon. And those boxes that you see over there are the excess materials that our community gave to him. Chandler challenges me to rethink who is really taking care of those among us who need it. That this young boy would be so moved to do that and that the community would follow behind him challenges what I think when I look to leadership in our area that rarely gets done what Chandler did in a matter of a few weeks. Other children in this world challenge me also. Children stuffed into the bottom of a boat trying to get away from the evil that exists in their life. Children who right now, this evening, are hiding somewhere underground for fear of the bombs that are overhead. Children that are living in slavery because in our world today, there are more slaves than have ever existed in the history of mankind. The children here in our church challenge me all the time with their smiles and to remember that why I'm here is not just for them but for their parents as well, and that oftentimes though I might be feeling down or be moody because someone's upset by something that I find frivolous, that the children are so very important. He leads us by example in the manger, and I've seen lots of people here lead me by example as well. I've seen people in my life give up successful careers in order to serve others and to care for loved ones. I've known many who give up a lifestyle they've known for years and face losing people in their lives and face even the ridicule of an entire community and perhaps their families in order to conquer the disease of addiction. I know of those who have rushed out in the middle of the night to protect someone they love or to save them from a situation. You may think I'm talking about you, but the truth is I could name a good 10 people in this congregation who have experienced those things. I've seen people comfort someone when they expected that person to persecute them or to take them to court. I've seen people with my own eyes courageously face the fears of transformation and change in their lives. Even here in this church, change is hard and it's tough, and to be honest, it's even upsetting, but people here do it so very courageously when they can. Because transformation is the very foundation of our faith. I myself have forgiven someone who didn't deserve it because God calls me to offer grace, and grace is what you give when it isn't deserved. God has made a bold move by the manger. He has come to us in an unexpected way and remains with us forever. And that move returns tonight in a solemn and quiet stillness, and each day in a new way in our lives. The mystery of all of this may not be understood by us, but by our very presence here tonight, by claiming to be Christians, it is still known to us and we know it exists. It is our faith and it is our belief. But what is unknown, what we do not know about ourselves and each other, is what will be our bold moves. What will be our response to the grace God has given to each of us. Amen.